Yeah.
Alright, hello and welcome to League of Vloggers. This is episode 18. Today we are talking about week 2 of the summer LCS.
Indeed.
Stuff happened. It was good.
It was not
Good luck. We will see you next week.
Yeah, as always, Viking Redbeard, rocking your Golden Guardians hat this time, showing the pride.
I remembered it. I forgot it last week.
Yeah.
Could have been better.
And Stormy here in the center, and myself, I'm Kurtis James. So yeah, week 2, like you said. Let's just start off the top. We have an undefeated team. And it's the one everybody saw coming, obviously. OpTic Gaming at 4-0. We all knew that was going to happen, right?
Well, to be fair,
I thought they would have so
their
many
schedule
issues, and they are not
was a
having
pretty
issues,
easy intro.
Yeah, so they did have Clutch and 100 Thieves week 1, which were 2 of the O2 teams. Bottom 2 teams from last split. And then they went into CLG, which was like 3rd, 4th last team last split. And then FlyQuest, which was a top 4 last split. But is kind of finding a hard time getting their footing right now. So yes, they have not faced any of the top 3 teams from last split yet. Or any of the, aside from themselves, like they haven't faced Cloud9, who's still hot in one of those. And they haven't faced Golden Guardians, who's been pretty hot so far this split. The Clutch one, you can weigh that back and forth now, because Clutch had a great second week. We'll get to that. But yeah, OpTic, not the hardest schedule so far, but they're still 4-0.
Yeah, that's saying something since no other
They
team
definitely
is
get a
4-0.
little kudos. I mean, it's not going to last. At least I don't think it's going to last.
If it lasts, I'll be floored. Kudos to them, you know?
Yeah, I mean, so we'll find out real quick next week. They have Cloud9 and Team Liquid, and then they actually face TSM after that. The next 3 games are the top 3 from last split. What do you guys think has allowed them to be 4-0 right now? Because you just don't get that by luck, and if you've watched their games, it's not just luck.
No, like I feel like they're putting up a little bit more effort than we've seen from them in the past. Like they actually are showing up for their matches. Like they're hitting keys on their keyboard in the right order. Like it feels like it's a very different OpTic from last split, where it kind of looked like they showed up, like they plugged in their keyboard, put it upside down, and just like went goom goom goom, and was like, "Did we win? No, crap. Okay, let's try again next week." Maybe we'll plug our keyboards in right next week.
What are your thoughts?
Well, I was gonna touch on Big, which you had issues with last split.
Last split I did, you're right.
And he has shown up for these last few games on champions that he just is playing very well. His thresh hooks have been very good, and as much as I want to shit on the team, or at least him, I can't. I mean,
yeah,
he's done a lot better, and I think that they're playing much better as a team. Like, Meteos came in, and they didn't really change anything once they got all their roster set.
No, this is the same roster as last split. The only small difference being that we haven't seen Dardoch at all, whereas him and Meteos did share some time last split, and also the beginning of last split, they didn't have their full roster there. So Arrow and Big were not starting. Instead, it was Gate in support, and I don't recall. Yeah, Auto, I believe. Yeah, it was Auto and Gate in the bot lane.
Well, they've had time to play with this roster as a team, and it's definitely shown. And Crown too, like he's been much better this split than he was last split.
That's my big
lackluster thoughts on him for last split he was a world champion.
Yeah, Crown's a former world champion.
Yeah, so I'm back to being like, okay, this guy actually deserves a role in a starting spot.
My big one has been Crown. I think in the past 2 weeks, and especially this past week, OpTic has really found a way to play well around him. I mean, we'll talk about it some more. He played TF twice this week. He's really on point right now. The
Crown?
team, yeah.
He played Silas.
Oh, he played Silas the first game? Okay, well, he didn't play TF once last week, too, then. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, like, he's been really good, which, I mean, he was never a bad player, but, like, they were never able to capitalize on having him last split, it seemed, whereas right now, through just 4 games, he's on point. I think Big is playing better, I agree with you there. I think Dokla is playing better, too, because he was the other giant weak point that I heavily criticized. But those two have kind of stabilized a little bit, and I feel like Meteos is doing whatever it takes, whether it's in mid or elsewhere, in order to allow Crown to get going.
Yeah.
And I mean, Crown's playing great. I love it.
helps when
Arrow's
he
playing
does
his
what
role well as also like we're seeing
Yeah.
him really kind of dominate quietly in team fights. Like he just gets a ton of damage out. And yeah, like you said, I don't think Big's losing the bot lane. His Thresh and Nautilus both this week. He played 2 hook champions and he had great hooks. He had a lot of patience with his CC and he was layering it so well. And it was great to see. So yeah, I think OpTic's just looking really good right now. And while I still do think Dokla can be exploited and the best teams will, like I don't see them ending up a top 3, maybe not even a top 4 team.
Yeah.
They should make playoffs. If they miss playoffs, something major has happened, either improvement elsewhere in the LCS or just, Dokla and Big just fall apart or Crown just can't keep it going. If they keep playing the way they are right now, they should make playoffs in my opinion. But kudos to them.
Yeah. I don't really have anything else to add. I mean, Big, like you said, has shown up this split. He was very lackluster last. Meteos is playing a little bit better this split. Like, I don't think he was ever the weak point last split,
Right.
but like when your whole team is like falling apart around you, you generally fall apart too.
Yeah. He seems to be having some dominant performances right now.
Yeah,
Well, that was last week or week 1. I was gonna say, but yeah, we shouldn't go back to that.
No. I mean, he played Sejuani and Olaf this week, and he just was everywhere at the right time.
Yep, and Dokla definitely seems to be getting his act together as well. Like, his top lane looks a lot better than it did, again, last split.
Specifically his Poppy.
Yeah.
I think his Poppy's been very good. If I'm a team going against OpTic, other than, like, the, must bans in the current meta kind of thing, I'm looking at Twisted Fate for Crown, and I'm looking at Poppy for Dokla. Like, because while I think Crown's still going to do well on other champions, I think Dokla right now, he looks much less when he's not on that Poppy, which he played both games this week. So
yeah, it definitely seems like they've got their team like working together a little bit more, which is good because when you have all of these good players and you're still floundering, like it's got to be a coaching issue at that point. So it seems like the coaching has either made some better decisions or they're being guided a little bit better. So
is the coach still Zabutin? I believe so.
I don't know. It doesn't say it on this page.
But yeah. So kudos to OpTic. Let's move on to a team that was one of those top 3s. Currently in that giant 4-way tie for 4th place, TSM. We were just talking about OpTic. They decided on a jungler between last split and this split, and really they had decided by about halfway through last split. Now, TSM had played Acadian at the beginning of last split because Grig was injured. By the time Grig was well again, they had talked about rotating him in, but they were on this giant win streak, and they had 2 OTL, and they never brought him in. Now we've seen Grig twice, we've seen Acadian twice, and TSM is 2-2.
Acadian lost both the games, or I should say, those 2 games that Acadian played in.
Are the
lost.
ones, yes. So TSM lost with Acadian. He played both day 1s, so they lost to Team Liquid and lost to FlyQuest.
Yeah.
Grig, on day 2s, beat CLG and Echo Fox. Now, I think there's an obvious disparity there between TL FlyQuest, CLG Echo Fox, but what do you guys think about those junglers, how they specifically have performed right now, and how this bears out for the chemistry of TSM as a team?
I like the idea of having double junglers, but when you have to split your time with someone else, it means that you're losing some of like the synergy that you get when you're playing with them 24/7. So you kind of fall out of sync, like, oh, hey, like I'm gonna play as if like Grig were here, but oh crap, it's Acadian, or the other way around, and like they're just like your trust fall. There's no one, like the person that you think is there to catch you isn't, and it kind of seems like that's what's happening with this team a little bit.
Okay. Thoughts on that?
Well, I didn't want to say at first that Grig is any better than Acadian, but I had never seen Grig play. He was the starter, and I think maybe he was the starter for a reason. He might have a little bit more of what the team needs or what it takes to win in League of
So I
Legends.
will let you know, so when they had Grig starting end of previous season, they did not have Acadian on the roster.
Okay.
So
what did they go? Can you tell me that? Do you remember?
what did they go?
Like on the last year, I guess.
Oh, they missed playoffs both, or no, they missed finals both splits and missed worlds for the first time in TSM's history.
With Grig?
with Greg.
Okay,
correct.
that's actually very surprising.
They also
Yeah.
had Mithy in the bot lane as support, and that did not go well. So
Mithy's in
and they still had
Origin
Haunser.
now, I think.
Yeah, and they still had Haunser, who's now on Golden. It's a very different team than it was last year, and their results are also very different. So
I am excited to see more of Grig play, even though I really do like Acadian. I think he brings a lot to the team, and he had a great freaking last split, as well as like going into playoffs, reverse sweeping, what was it, C9 or something like that?
yeah, they were. Was it reverse? Yeah, it was 5 games against C9. I think it was reverse sweep, and then they
TL
were reverse swept by TL for sure.
Because they played the same champion, Hecarim. They did have a little bit of different comps to back that up. Acadian had the Sonataric, and it just... Their engages were lackluster, and FlyQuest, or at least Viper, played very patiently. He's like, let me wait till everything's blown, and then I'm just going to demolish your team by going in. Even if you kill some of my team, it doesn't matter, because I'm going to get you once all your shit's done. And Grig, like, I think he had the better comp because he had the Zillion. Like, he can just engage and just be like, all right, if I die, I'm back up. So
yeah,
that is something to say, but
and
I'm excited to see more Grig.
That's where my thought was coming is that I think the comp and the competition favored Greg, especially this week. Especially Alan said, I think as a whole TSM's been playing too slowly. And I voiced that to you actually on Sunday. We were chatting during the match, and I said, I like the Yuumi pick. However, I was afraid that, like, Yuumi Lucian seems great. I'm like, but I don't know if Sven is going to bring it. And he really actually...
Sven brought it.
He didn't early, though.
No.
Like, and that's my fear was he wasn't going to get the Yuumi ahead, which Yuumi from ahead, disgusting, which is what we've seen her the 2 times we've seen her CLG in week 1, TSM week 2. She gets ahead, and you're just like, that slow's absurd. She does a couple hundred damage with a Q that's nearly impossible to miss. Yeah. Like, there's all sorts of shit. And then the heals, you know,
Sven
just goes.
Played
goes.
Off that slow very well. In those teams. Like, he would
so
just drag
easy.
them out, push up,
easy.
let him get slowed, come up to kill him, back off if he needs to.
And I was afraid that Sven wouldn't play aggressive enough in the bot lane, which I still don't think he did. However, the Hecarim, Zillion, and they just played aggressive enough everywhere else to make it work. And, I mean, there's some good plays from Broken Blade that game, whereas I feel like Broken Blade when he was playing the, was it the Rise? No, he played the Pike. Like, and that's another thing. I feel like that was a bad draft. Like, game. I don't think Acadian got, if you're comparing those 2 games, did not get a fair shake.
Yeah.
Broken Blade Pike versus Broken Blade Kennen. I know which one I want to play, or, you know, play with. FlyQuest versus Echo Fox. While that's closer, I know which one I'd rather play against. And then, you talk about the Zillion mid as opposed to Rise.
I think Rise is okay.
As a Hecarim, I'd rather have the Zillion, though.
Yes.
I'm going to dive. I want to revive. I want the speed up as well. It gives me more damage.
Fast pony.
Yeah, super fast pony. And like, oh yeah, well, he had the Sonataric. Sona gives him the speed up. The Sona speed up is not as good. And the Sonataric, like, it got stomped. Like, FlyQuest shoved Sonataric's faces in. They brought the Elise. They brought the Lux Caitlyn bot lane. Like,
it was the Riven that
and beyond that, beyond all that, obviously Viper on the Riven just went the fuck off.
Because Sona had, like, Sven had some good ults as Sona on the entire team.
But they lost that bot lane as hard as we've seen a Sonataric lose a lane. Like, that Lux Caitlyn worked. And it worked all really well. Yeah. With the Elise, she comes in with extra CC. Like, they had a couple that one big turret dive where they came in, there's the good Sona ult, but it was too early because nobody had aggro. And they just sat there, waited, and then killed them. It was just... Everything was off about it, so I think...
The Pike pick was definitely, like, probably the worst part of
and we keep seeing that shit. Like,
So to echo Alan from the chat, like, NA should not play Pike. And I'm not going to say NA. I think Pike top is just not great right now. Like, they keep trying to make top Pike a thing, and it doesn't go well for anyone playing it.
Unless you're as good as Wonder, you're going to have a bad time. Like, okay, it's going to be harder. Like, I think it's doable. It can work, but we're seeing teams aren't playing it right. Even if you go back to when G2 played it, Pike had some rough lanes, but it's about the way G2 as a team would just collapse constantly, and he was there for that. He would get his ult off, and they would get the extra bonus gold to the team. If you're not getting that bonus gold where 2 people get the kill credit, then you're wasting that pick. The pick doesn't have the power it needs. And that NA's not doing that, especially Broken Blade was never in the right place.
On that that game.
Yeah.
Was he stopped Riven's teleport early on.
And I feel like the Pyke, like,
and that was because Riven
especially because of what I just said, like, he's the worst top laner to pick with a Sonateric. Because you need damage for the Sonateric to constantly be healing people, right? So they're only sources of real consistent damage in that game, because Pyke gets off like a rotation, but he has a lot of CC and a little damage. He doesn't have a lot. So it was Ryze and Hecarim. Well, Hecarim's got one burst of damage, and then he's mostly done, because you're going to kill him. Or it's a 1v1 and he'll keep healing. And then you have Ryze, who, yeah, Machine Gun gets off a lot of damage, but when those are your only two threats, they burst the Hecarim on his way in, you focus the Ryze, and then you take care of everything else afterwards. Like, it was just such an easy comp to pick apart, I feel like. And the picks against it, the Lux, Elise, Jace, Caitlyn, Riven, like, all of those picks were just perfect to go, we have a lot of damage and a fair amount of CC. Oh, and we have range and CC as well. A range and then more CC on top of it. Like, we're fine.
Yeah. And it's funny because you wouldn't normally think that. Most of those champions were not tanks. They're just mushy. Like, Elise is mushy.
Yeah.
Lux and Caitlyn are mushy. What was the other one? Fucking...
Elise, Caitlyn, Lux, Jace, and
Jace
Riven.
can be mushy. And Riven can be mushy, but not Viper. Some
No,
reason.
if you're ahead on Riven, she's...
Yeah.
a god-awful tanky just because she's healing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think TSM, their biggest issue so far in their 2-2 start seems to be the draft, honestly. They reverted from starting to play faster, which we saw at the end of last split, to like playing slower, or when they pick a fast comp, which worked for them, it's only, like one day, and it's against the worst team. Like, I think against and they should have lost against CLG. I'll maintain that. Like, they had the Sonateric against CLG and won with it, but only because CLG couldn't close it out fast enough and then made mistakes and let them back in.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't have a lot of confidence in what I've seen out of TSM so far, but I know they're good enough to, like, be better than this.
Do you think they'll start Grig on Saturday next week? Or this week, I guess?
I don't know. I want to see more Acadians still. Actually, I hope... See, okay, in week 3, they have Clutch and Cloud9, which if you asked me before week 2, I'm like, okay, I want to see Acadian against Clutch because they're the weaker team. And right now, Clutch looked really good week 2, so, like, I still think they're the weaker team than Cloud9, but I don't know by how much anymore.
Yeah. Huh.
So, like, if he loses to Clutch, I'm not going to hold it against him, like, if Clutch plays the way they did this week. Which, speaking of, let's go to that. We saw Clutch go 0-2 against OpTic and Cloud9 in week 1. We didn't know OpTic was going to be 4-0, by the way. And then we saw them beat Golden Guardians, who has been good, and 100 Thieves. And we're just not going to talk about 100 Thieves. This is the one note. We'll make, like, this one note every episode. But we are not talking about 100 Thieves until they win a game. They're not worth our time.
But they're my favorite to complain about.
See,
Wow. They're not worth our time to talk
I'm
about,
sick of
and
that.
that's all we have to say about them. So moving on from that, other than mentioning people beat them, because that's all they do. So yeah, they beat Golden Guardians and 100 Thieves here, but they looked really good in both of those games. And they looked really bad against OpTic and Cloud9. What version of Clutch is the real one?
Okay. I'm not going to draw any sort of, like, they're coming out of a slump or anything until, like, I see what happens next week. But, like, Huni seemed to be here. Like, he was sitting at the table with the team. Like, I mean, he wasn't somewhere off, like, counting his money in his head.
He came back from the kids' table making, like, mountains with his mashed potatoes. And he, like, showed up at the adults' table and had conversation.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Oh, I like that.
Like, Huni looked, like, surprisingly decent, like, after he's, like, not looked good since, like, spring split last year.
I feel like that's the best full week we've seen out of him in about a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but one was against 100 Thieves, who put up a
They did.
good base fight, I guess,
We're
for
not
a while.
talking about them,
Yeah.
but that's the best
That's
showing
they've done.
we've seen from them in a long time as well. Like, I don't hold that against Clutch because I feel like it wasn't them unable to be a bad team. It was a bad team playing the best they could.
Stalling, basically.
Yeah, and
That's
that
what
too. Like, they were never behind in that game. It was just, it took them longer to close it than it should have. And there is nothing wrong with safely closing out a game over 40-some
I do
minutes,
agree.
whatever it was.
That one was 37, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Close.
That was a long game. It was fucking 37 minutes. Like,
I think that's the longest of the weekend, because I
Right.
don't think anything hit
but there's
40.
nothing wrong with taking 37 minutes to close out a game safely, as opposed to throwing the game when you tried to close it in 27 and then losing it in 40.
Which they've done.
Like,
So,
yeah.
they learned.
We've
Good
seen
job,
better
Clutch.
teams make that mistake, so I'd rather Clutch did it safely. That's smart play, in my opinion.
So I don't know that this is what is happening, but this is my hope. Like, Hooney's a good player when he's like here. Like, it seems like for like the last year, he's literally just been off somewhere else, like not playing
He
League
has
for real.
Moose syndrome.
Yeah.
It's Moose syndrome. That's
Well,
what you
it's
call
Hooney
it.
syndrome first.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He started it.
Hooney
So
looked
Hooney
good.
syndrome
He actually like
cured.
showed up and
All right.
played.
And Lyra looked good this
Yes.
weekend.
I like the
DeMonte
fact that the
looked
comp
good for
worked.
the most
That
part.
doesn't surprise me. DeMonte's good as long as the rest of his team doesn't suck balls.
And
You
DeMonte-
really like DeMonte.
Well,
He's
DeMonte-
underrated because
Yeah,
I'm
his
sorry, but
luck
it made me
was
so
great.
mad last split when like the actual LCS analysts were fine with Piglet being put mid. There's nothing okay about that. Piglet was hot garbage in the bot lane, and then he was hot garbage the first week of mid, and they played him again. It's like, or you could play your good mid laner.
Yeah. I don't know why they did that. Maybe they thought, like, because they've invested in Piglet, they should put him somewhere else to keep him there as a starter, but I am
I'd
very
rather-
happy they went back to DeMonte,
Yeah.
and that they kept Lyra, and that it's Cody, Sun, and Vulcan. Like, I think that works.
And
They
I've
did.
got to admit,
And
I
it
said
could've
if they
taken
should
a
get rid
week
of.
for Cody Sun to like get his bearings again, since it's been a minute since he's played on stage.
He's looking great.
Well,
Like he's not dominating games.
He
but
didn't
he's
look
not
super
fucking
great
up.
week 1, but he looked pretty decent this weekend.
Like I haven't seen him be the reason they lose yet at all.
No,
Like there
no.
are 2 losses. He was not the reason
Sure.
they lost. He was probably the only player playing well in those games. I think the big change between week 1 and week 2 was Hooney and Lyra both went from not good to good. And I have to fully admit, I wanted both Hooney and Lyra gone, and they showed up this week.
Hooney
No.
needs to go to the Cloud9 bench. That's where he needs to go.
Well, so okay, they play TSM and FlyQuest next week. If you're TSM and FlyQuest, you're banning Rumble, right? Because
Oh,
Hooney
yeah.
played that twice, and so far those are his only 2 good games of like the last year. Although he played a lot of bad Rumbles last split too.
He did.
Yeah.
He had like some good rumbles, some bad.
Like,
Mostly bad rumbles.
Until I see at least 2, maybe 3 weeks of him playing decently, I'm going to write this off as a fluke. You said they play TSM and FlyQuest?
Correct.
TSM, depending on which TSM shows up, like, I mean, that could be a nice layup for TSM.
I think
and,
that'll actually be a really good match.
and FlyQuest could, like, just depending on how
Same
well
with
they do,
Fly,
they
but-
could just poop on Clutch as well. So, I mean,
Yeah.
we'll see what happens next week. I don't have a lot of faith. I'm probably going to bet against Clutch next week.
Yeah.
But if they prove me wrong again, maybe I will warm up to them and give them the respect they deserve.
Yeah, I think we're not really going to talk about that much, but I think this is actually going to be a really good barometer game for FlyQuest because they are 1-3 so far. That win being over TSM with the Sonateric, and their 3 losses being the Cloud9, Golden Guardians, and OpTic, 3 of the top teams in the league currently. Like, I mean, those are number 1, and the 2 teams tied for 2nd right now. So you can't really hold that against FlyQuest. Like, they were number 4 last split. Technically, they're a number 4 right now.
The few games that I've seen though that they've lost, they didn't look very good though as a team.
I agree.
Which
Yeah,
I'm
they
really
definitely
hoping they turn that
regressed
around.
for some
Their
reason.
win did, but I think that was more because Viper and Riven. Like, I think if Viper had been on something else, they would have lost that game.
It's very possible.
To that Sonataric.
So the only change
Back
that they
to-
made between the split and the net, or this one, is what did?
But he hasn't played yet, has
Oh.
he? Or did he play one game?
He has not.
No, he hasn't even played one
yet.
Trust me,
Never
I'm
So-
waiting for what.
So far, they've made no changes, so we'll
Okay.
see. But back to Clutch, though. I like what we saw of Hooney. I think the Rumble's going to be banned. I did hear the LCS casters made a comment. I think it was on the dive, maybe, unless that's not even out this week yet. I don't remember. Was that one of the things is that, okay, Hooney played Rumble twice. And I think it was, just on the desk. I think Mark Z said it, is that he's finally just playing, like, a champion. Because last, like, you never knew what he was going to play. And so it's like, okay, well, what's Hooney going to do for the team this game? I don't fucking know. And so if he just plays, like, if he picks, like, 2-3 champions and just plays those every game, then at least the team knows how to play around him. And hopefully he's helping the team in the same way every time. I don't think that's all of it, because, honestly, when he played Rumble last split, I saw him drop some of the worst equalizers
Yeah, that was.
that I've seen
Those were
outside
pretty
of
funny.
myself playing Rumble. 3 times I think I've ever played it.
Mine and ARAM behind us.
Yeah, like
I've only ever played
I've
with
dropped
ARAM.
better Rumble ults in the one Summoner's Rift game I've ever played him than I saw Huni drop sometimes last split. Like, he would drop them and it wasn't on the choke point leading the way out. It didn't land on anyone besides maybe, like, one person. Like, it did nothing to corral people or do damage. And, like, this week, he was dropping it on, like, 4 people. He was dropping it on the line they had to walk. He had a 1v1 in bot lane where he dropped it, like, close to the wall. Was that against...
Was that against the Corki?
Oh, and I marked that
Which
the wrong
I
way.
thought was a really dumb pick.
Yeah, or no, it was a Corki.
I didn't like their...
No, it was against the
their
Nico.
comp on that.
He went and trapped the Nico against the wall. He didn't drop the equalizer straight against the wall. He dropped it slightly out. Because you're still going to be on it, even if you're all the way against the wall. And if you're all the way against the wall, then obviously he's going to hit all his skill shots because he can't move anywhere. And so she had to walk through it to, like, get away from the wall.
Yeah,
And she was
that's
just
where he
fucked.
flamed again.
Yeah, and, like,
I was watching.
it was such good play. And I'm like, wait, Huni remembers how to play the game? Oh my god, I was so excited for him. And Lyra playing aggressive junglers, I want to see him just do that all the time now. He played Jarvan, he played Lee Sin.
I love Lee Sin.
Great,
I love
keep
Lyra
those
Sin.
2 and, like, Elise, because she's kind of coming back into the meta. Like, maybe a Vi if she becomes feasible, but I want to see him just on aggressive junglers. Don't TSM him. Like, and I think he was doing that to himself where he was picking Sejuani and stuff. No, I just want to see him on aggressive things that do some damage and not a weird, like, Hecarim one. Like, very standard old school junglers that are aggressive. I want to see Lyra on that 24/7 going forward, and I think that will help this team.
I'm excited for that one. Or,
Yeah.
Sorry, which one? Who's the one who's playing Poppy? It's OpTic?
Yeah,
They
OpTic.
already
Dokla's
played
been playing
them.
Poppy. I
'Cause,
mean, we've been seeing
it
a
cuts
fair
down
amount
the
of
Lee
Poppy
Sin
around. I
real
think she's kind of coming back.
So when they ban Rumble next week, who's he gonna play?
I don't know. That's what I'm curious about, because they're going to see a Rumble ban. They've got to,
they've
right?
got to. After this past week, yeah, I would be like, no thank you.
Yeah. So, let's move on then from Clutch to another team that's 2-2 right now, and not TSM, because we already talked about them. TL. Team Liquid, returning 3-time champions, I believe, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they won both splits last year. They won first split this year. So defending 3-time champion, runner-up, a finalist at MSI, just took down the world champions IG, like, decidedly so. And they've come back and they have beaten TSM, lost to Echo Fox. Beaten 100 Thieves, lost to CLG. Is the post-MSI slump real? Is that what we're seeing here? They're just worn out? Or is it something more dangerous?
Well, I think they tried to change up their draft a bit, which didn't work on that CLG game. I think if Core JJ had picked a champion, Core JJ is... There's Tom Kench was open. Freaking Nautilus is open. Alistar's open.
So for the audience,
Thresh
he
is
picked
open.
Karma. They gave him Karma.
Yeah.
And the
Which I
only
love
support
Karma.
that was banned was Yumi and Sona.
Yeah, that was it. He had an entire pool that he could have pulled from, and he picks Karma, which, again, I love Karma, don't get me wrong, but it did not work for this team comp, and it certainly isn't what I would have gone with had I been, like, Core JJ, I guess.
It feels very
Disappointed.
much like they spent way too much time preparing for MSI that they don't know how to play NA anymore. Which is really weird because you would think that on the world scale that playing that meta would just kind of dominate, and they...
Not if you don't play it well enough. I mean, there's kind of... I just want to get this in quick. I think that it's been overlooked until more recently that there is a bit of a rock, paper, scissors when it comes to metas. Like, we see it very heavily in a game like Dota, and we don't see it as much in League. I think we're seeing a little bit of it with, like, the Sonateric thing, where, like, okay, just heavily gank bot really early, and that can be good against Sonateric, but if you do that against a normal bot lane, you're going to end up losing mid and top because you're putting all your pressure bot, things like that. We're going to see more of that, but it's not as obvious, and I think that plays to it. Like, just because something wins at Worlds doesn't mean that it wins locally, because maybe your local thing's, like, good enough to beat that if you don't play that at the top level. Kind of thing.
I don't know. I don't know if that's actually the case. Like, I mean, it doesn't... It's very weird, honestly. Like, TL is such a good team, and they've looked kind of silly in some of their matches. Like
The two they lost, they definitely did not look stellar. I think they were up though on that CLG game too. They were up
like the
they
first 20
actually
minutes,
lost
and
it.
they did what their like CLG did to Team Liquid, what Team Liquid's so good at doing to everyone else. But CLG set them up to win, and they didn't take it. Like so TL is usually like they wait till 20 minutes, they wait for you to make a mistake, and then boom, game's over. They capitalize and it's done. This game, however, like the 20 to 23 minute mark, CLG faltered real hard. Like I forget exactly what happened, but there was a huge play where like CLG almost got aced. There was like a 4 for like very little trade.
TL got nothing off it, basically.
Yeah. Well, no. I'm saying like TL punished CLG, but then like CLG came back and was like, "We're still here," and like they didn't capitalize on it how they usually do. Right. It's like usually because like I think the trade was like 4 for 1 maybe.
I think something like that. Yeah.
But I mean, but it was like TL won the big team fight.
Yeah.
And then they did nothing with it.
Yeah, I like a little bit what Alan's saying in the chat is that they seem to be reverting back from the faster pace that helped them beat IG. Because I do agree. I don't think they've been as aggressive early. Like, as much as they're playing kind of more the MSI where it's a bit, like, sloppier, it's more about just taking fights and, you know, even if they're not fully in your favor, which is not what we saw TL do last split. They were very much waited, you made a mistake, they won a fight, then they turned that into advantages, and they won the next fight, and then the game was over, like you were saying, Chase. But what we're seeing right now is, like, them do that slow start still, and then, you know, instead of the MSI fast start that they had been doing with, like, super aggressive Xmithy, I feel like they did that Olaf game with him, where he went full damage build and got, like, his shit shoved in, rather than if it... Normal Xmithy, like, I feel like the aggressive Xmithy we saw at MSI was him doing kind of a bruisery champion, but being aggressive with it. But yeah, he went full damage Olaf, did not go well. And so then this week, I feel like we just saw him, he did the Olaf, I guess this week too. I think he played it last week as well. I could be misremembering. But they're playing, like, slow early, and then come the mid-game, they're like, oh, we do the crazy stuff now. It's like, okay, like they're not waiting for that mistake, and even when they do get it, like Chase said with the CLG game, they don't capitalize on the same way where they just control everything from there on out. I don't know. I think part of it's them being tired from MSI. I think part of it's adjusting, and I think part of it might be other teams seeing them falter in the first week and not being as afraid of them.
Oh.
Yeah,
because I feel like teams showed them way too much respect sometimes in first split. Not that like they would have done way worse or anything, but you would see these teams like they wouldn't want to fight TL for the first like 20 minutes, and then like they would make a mistake and TL would take the fight. And I think teams like realize after seeing TL struggle so hard in group stage at MSI, like losing to Vietnam, losing to Flash Wolves, like seeing these different things, just going, oh, if we don't like pussyfoot around them, they're not that great for the first 20 minutes. And teams have good drafts against them and all that.
Seems like they were bluffing for the first 20 minutes and like...
Yeah, teams just respect. They're like, oh, it's Impact and Jensen and Core JJ and Double Lift and Xmithy. Let's not mess with them for 20 minutes. And Teal's like, oh, thank God, they don't know that we suck right now. So I don't know. I like the other teams who are pushing them. I think that's the right way to go. I think we'll see TL up, turn back up. I mean, they've got too many good players to not finish top 4.
We've got what, 14 more games to go?
14 games.
There's plenty of time for them to not suck.
My thought is they've got too good of players, too good of a staff to not finish top 4.
Yeah. I completely
What do you guys think about top 4, or maybe just playoffs, or where would you say they have to finish?
I was going to say maybe they're going to slump it a little bit until Rift Rivals, and maybe their goal is to not play Rift Rivals so they can have like
we're not going to go there, but we are.
Rift Rivals is top 3 from last split.
Fucking A.
It was decided 3 months ago.
Yeah, never mind. I thought maybe let's just kind of wait until Rift Rivals is over, and then we'll kick it into over again.
It is TL, TSM, Cloud9, and then G2 Fnatic Origin from
So they're
LEC.
already locked in, so it can't be that.
Never mind. It was a thought.
No. You and your conspiracy theories.
You know what? We were trying to give them an out.
So
were
what do
they
you
wanna
think,
lose on
though?
purpose.
Top 4 or just playoffs?
They're gonna win.
You think they're going to win the split?
I don't know about
Yeah.
win.
Wait.
I
Finish
really don't.
first or win the split? Because those are different.
They're gonna win the split.
What's
Okay.
the difference?
Finishing
They can
first is
make it
the
to
18
playoffs.
games, and then winning the split is whoever wins the playoffs.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah. All right.
I mean, I was just going with where they'll finish the regular split, and for me, top 4.
They're top 2, for sure.
All right.
It's very easy for them to turn it around. And
I mean, I'm
still
pretty sure we
grab that
all
number
predicted
1
them
spot.
first, so.
Yeah, we did.
Like, I mean, they've had a
OpTic, it depends.
rocky
Next
start,
week will
but like,
definitely-
it's not like they're so bad that they're gonna just like we're gonna drift into 4th place. Like,
We're gonna try.
I mean, TSM has been looking pretty lackluster so far. So I mean, they're
Yeah.
one of those.
There's
number 4
only
teams,
3 teams ahead of them. It's Cloud9, OpTic, and Golden Guardians.
and arguably they're much better than all of those teams. So,
Not right now, they fucking aren't.
I mean, last split they lost.
And you can't
4
say they're
games.
much better than all those teams, because last split they ended up with the exact same record as Cloud9. They just owned the head-to-head. They both went 14-4 last split.
Well, so did TL. 13-5. My bad.
Yeah, 13-5 was TSM. TL and Cloud9 went 14-4.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I say. They were tied, but TL owned the head-to-head.
I mean, so TL gave up what 4 games.
4 games, 14-4.
So I mean, they've given
Only-
up 2.
they
They
only
just
gave
went
them up
early
after,
instead of late. So
Yeah.
it's very possible that they have a hell of a ride out.
Yeah. No, I love in the cooldown. I don't know. I think it was Freak made the joke to Sneaky and Licorice because they were on the cooldown. He's like, "Oh, you dropped your game, so you know," or maybe it was last week
No, I think
to
it was-
someone.
it was
I don't know,
last
but he
week.
made a joke to somebody. He's like, "Oh, so you're gonna finish 17-1, right?" So it was either Golden Guardians or Cloud9 that the joke was made to. That you'll finish 17-1, right? Yeah, no
I
big
think
deal.
it was Cloud9.
Okay.
Cloud9 was sneaky.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. All right. Well, let's move on from Liquid, and let's talk a little bit about Pocket. Oh, you got something?
Well, just because it's coming up.
Yeah.
It's for next week. They're playing OpTic, which I'm very excited
Yeah,
about.
they have FlyQuest and OpTic.
And fuck the fly quest. I don't give a shit about that. I care about OpTic because OpTic is actually doing well.
Well, and TL's been doing the opposite of Rush, where they're winning on Saturday, losing
That's
on
true.
Sunday, and they play OpTic on Sunday. So if they're gonna break that streak, honestly, if OpTic wins that game, that's just like asserting dominance. So
I'm very excited for it. Yeah.
OpTic with the Cloud9, TL, TSM come up in the next 3. That's
I'm literally gonna roll dice for my picks. I'm gonna make like, the team so and so versus so, and I'm gonna give them odds, give them evens, and just roll a fucking dice and just be like, all right,
there you go.
because last week sucked.
All right, well, let's move on from the teams and let's talk about Pocket Picks a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we've seen them come in hard this split. Personally, I'm a big fan of it. I think if you're just really fucking good at a character, champion, play the shit out of it. I don't care. I don't care if it's meta. If you're good enough to make it win, do it. And we've seen that so far.
Are you talking about Froggen?
We've seen Crown with the Twisted Fate, which no one's playing. We've seen Froggen with the Anivia, which no one's playing. And we've seen Huni with the Rumble, which, yes, other people are playing. But he looked good. He looked better than everybody else who's playing it this week when he played it.
Yeah, and Viper Ribbon, because he got to play his pocket pick.
Yeah, that's a pocket pick for him, too. So, what do you guys think of seeing these pocket picks? Some of the specific ones, pocket picks in general? What are your thoughts on that?
I love seeing more champions play, and I do like seeing Ribbon just because he's fun to watch as Ribbon. He does well. He's got, he's only lost 1 game out of the 4 or 5 he's played on Ribbon.
Yeah, I
It's
think he
ridiculous.
lost to
if someone
Cloud9
actually looked
last
that
split
up,
on it.
Maybe. I know it's only once or twice.
I think Cloud9 beat him in week 8 with it.
But seriously, play what you're comfortable as. Play what you know. Don't pick Karma just because you think a shield is going to help you. Take something that crosses the map with a person,
Well, we've seen another one, Ole, on his Kench this week.
Oh, yeah.
His Kench is so dirty good. He changed every freaking fight on Sunday. He's a large reason why Golden Guardians beat Cloud9, was just his Tom Kench.
Oh yeah, my favorite play from that was him eating somebody at almost full health while he was almost dead. He popped his shield, ate him. He came out of the shield and it just melted. I forget who the team melted, but it was beautiful.
Well, when he ulted in, and they should have. It was him and Deftly, and they both should have instantly died. but apparently he was somehow able to get like the eat off in between, and then popped his shield. Then too, like definitely took half his health instantly on their arrival, got him instantly back in him without like being locked up, even though there was CC there.
Was that the bot lane and like near the brush?
Yeah, they came in
that
in
was
river.
the fight that I was.
Okay, yeah. It like he got CC, but he got the devour of his teammate off first, and like was fine for a little while and spit deftly out. And by that time, the rest of the team had gotten there. It was just like that should have been a fucking 2 for 0 or 0 for 2 for you guys. You should have gotten fucking wiped off the face of the planet, and then all your cavalry should have either run away or also gotten killed. And instead, they win the fight heavily.
Oh, that's probably that one right there.
Oh, it was so gross.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, that like Ole on that Kench is so good.
Yeah.
Like, so I love seeing these picks. You guys have the same mindset?
Oh hell yeah!
That you'd
Twisted
rather
Fate,
see.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, the Anivia. Like,
Definitely.
I want
Not
more
quirky.
players who just play what they're super good at, despite whether or not it's meta. You know, quote unquote.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't play much of the meta, and like I have a one-trick pony, but my one-trick pony usually will devour whatever the people trying to play the meta is if they have no idea how to play it.
Right.
And granted, I'm not playing at this high of level, but like, no, I definitely think it's really nice to have those pocket picks. It keeps it fresh, and like they're gonna be throwing bans at characters that aren't your pocket pick, or if they do, they're wasting it because then you're like, oh, I'll just play this other meta pick that's really good.
Yeah, like honestly, if you are looking at someone like Crown, okay, we're gonna ban STF, or Frog, we're gonna ban the Anivia. It's like, all right, that means one of the other 3 champions you would normally ban against any other team is now open, and if that's not a a mid laner in this scenario, that means now that I wouldn't say Dokla, I guess, so I'll use Haunter. Haunter gets to pick a power pick up in top because you're not able to ban it right now. Or, or if, especially if you're Golden Guardians, I think right now, because you have Anivia for Froggen and I think really the Kench for Ole. I think both of those feel, like Anivia definitely, but the Kench feels pretty close to like a must ban as well.
I'm surprised that they haven't been picking it and it's not been banned lately. I think that's so surprising.
Yeah. Like, I know Froggen knows Anivia well enough. He knows when he can and cannot play it. Like, he knows that intricately. And if he picks it, like he did this week, it is a second-round pick. And it's after he already, like, he knows what the other team is, at least 3 or 4 spots, or he already knows the mid laner. Like, he ended up playing it into the Azir, which he didn't know this time. But he knew that Cloud9 was running Nico, Zaya, Lux, and Skarner. And he's like, yeah, I can run that into those. Cool. He picks Anivia. And then he shits on him.
Honestly, they lost because of Azir.
We've been seeing a lot of Azir. I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah, I like it on some people or on some players, but I don't think it's a let's pick it because
it's late game scaling, and that's not what the meta is right now.
But
But I think you're talking about one play in particular.
I'm talking about that one play. My favorite is like the caster's like,
you're right.
This is a game-winning Baron. Cloud9's gonna get it. Boom, boom, boom. Nope, not gonna happen.
Yeah.
The Golden Guardians, they TP in, they run in, like they surround them.
Niski, no, not even surrounded. They were all on the south side of Baron. All of them.
Yeah, oh yeah.
All 3 were on the south side of Baron. Niski.
I was gonna say I don't think
and
Niski
the Azir pushed the entire group in. We got the Kennen ult
No,
off
he
on.
missed everyone with it.
No,
his intention was to push the Kennen in. He didn't even hit the Kennen.
No,
Kennen stepped to the side of it. I think he was trying to push 2 people. One flashed back, deftly flashed back,
is that what happened?
and Haunter on the Kennen sidestepped it. He didn't even hit anyone. Had he hit somebody, at least like you have the CC to chain off. But even then, it's the wrong choice. You hold the wall, and if the Kennen tries to come in, you push him away. Finish the Baron and walk out. He opts into a fight that they had no reason to opt into, and he didn't even hit anyone.
Kennen got like a 4-man ult off.
Yeah, well,
and melted like most of them, and then they picked up the Baron. It was just melt,
yeah,
and then melt.
And not only because of him missing everything, did he waste the ult and he didn't do the defensive play he could have? On top of it all, to do that ult, he has to dash forward. He is now exposed, and that was the thing, deftly flashed back and then walked forward and killed him. Because you can't go anywhere. You just used your movement You're dead,
I
Nisky.
think everyone
You
was
done
talking
fucked
about
up, AA Ron.
Like he won on it the day before, but I don't know that he was the game changer for that game on the win that they had versus Fox.
No. Yeah, I
But,
don't think so either.
So I'd rather see Nisky on his crazy poke champs that he likes.
To be fair, the Azir worked well in that game, but that's because it was part of a Sonateric late game comp. And so what you're looking for in the Sonateric, and I discussed it earlier, is a lot of damage elsewhere. Azir provides a ton of sustained damage. With the Jarvan and the Nico to give the burst and extra lockdown, Azir's a great pick. But when you're talking about it in the Cloud9 comp that day, whereas you got the Nico, great. Lux has lockdown, but no damage.
You missed everybody.
Zaya, Skarner,
Okay.
Yeah. It was a sidestep from
ridiculous.
Haunter and a flash from Deathly, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I watched that play happen, and I was just like, he fucked that up so hard. He wanted to make the play, and there was no reason to, quote-unquote, make the play
There's no reason to
in
rush
that
it.
situation.
Yeah.
They had the Baron dead to rights. All you gotta do is shove everyone away, and by everyone, I mean the Kennen
Anyone.
and the Varus.
Maybe someone.
When they
Land
flashed forward to ult, the Kennen and Varus, because they were playing against a Varus,
It was a
right?
3v5, right?
Yeah. Yeah, 3v5 or 4.
1, 2,
Yeah.
because it was an ace, so it was 3v5.
Yeah.
So
you have the Olaf, the Varus, and the Kennen there. 2 of those want to flash ult in. The Olaf, you're not going to hit him with the ult anyway if he ults, if he still had it even. So you just hold your ult. When they flash forward to ult and try and steal the Baron, you ult them away. That's all you do. You don't try and initiate some shit, especially when the Baron was at, what, 1,500? Just fucking finish it.
I mean, to be fair, like, being in the moment like that, like, I mean, you probably have 4 different people yelling in your ear on how to play this out. Like, To be fair, it's a pro team. Only one person should be making the call, and that's Zeyzal. Maybe Svenskeren, but Zeyzal should have control of that situation and be saying, this is what we're doing on my call. It just seems like it was like
instead
a
of blowing your
poor.
ult. I agree.
It just seems like a poor call. People like thought they thought that it was 3v5. Like who would have thought a 3v5 would have resulted in an ace against the 5?
But it's Kennen Varus. There's so much CC there.
No,
AoE CC.
you're absolutely correct.
Like a pro team knows that. Yeah, no, he fucked up. He fucked up so hard.
Like, I mean, that was the game right there. Like, that is where it was just done.
Yeah, Cloud9 should be 4-0 as well, except for Ole's play, which was immaculate that game, and that, because if they take that Baron, they probably end up winning that game.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this is the game-winning Baron. Like, I mean, that is what the ref, or like, that's what the announcers were saying.
I think that is overselling it, but they do probably win that game. I think their odds probably go up to like 80+%. But still.
No, Cloud9 looked so good up until basically that play.
Okay, I wasn't going to talk about Cloud9. Do you think they actually looked good in that game? Because I didn't think so.
I think that there was...
I think they made it... I thought I was seeing just mistakes left and right. And
GG
Ole
stole
outplaying the
Drake.
shit out of them.
Yeah.
That's how I felt about it.
I mean, they were ahead in kills. They were ahead in gold. Like, they were down dragons, I think. But
they were down all the dragons. They were down like 4-0 to Drakes, weren't they?
Yeah, I think you're right. So Golden Guardians had all the dragons, but I feel like Cloud9 was playing the better macro game, and then like that play is like where thing just completely shifted. Like it seemed like Cloud9 was just like they shut down at that point. Because even like that play down in the bot lane with the Kench, like. I mean, that was silly that's how that played out because
so
it should
good
have.
by Ole. So good.
Because that's not how it should have gone.
Yeah.
But it was beautiful. But
I think C9 had some good plays, but I don't think they looked as good as normal.
Yeah.
C9.
Well, I mean, there's the bad Azir play. Like I said, I think it was a lot of Ole up plays. But, like, the very last play of the game, I think that one also sticks in my mind. So you had Licorice disguised as Rek'Sai Fine, waiting in the brush,
yeah,
and he was waiting around the Baron.
this.
Really smart by Golden Guardians to not start up the Baron. So good on them there.
Yeah.
And then they move to the top lane to push it, and he moves up into the top lane, river, or not the river brush, but the one against the wall in the corner. And he's sitting there, and he's waiting. A minion wave goes by, and you have that gap where there's no minion vision, right? And he doesn't fucking leave during that. He waits until the next minion wave arrives and leaves with that front minion. He very, very directly gives vision of himself as Rek'Sai as he approaches. They know it's not fucking Rek'Sai. She doesn't have the old ult. She didn't, like, get there somewhere. Like, they know it's Nico because he's been flanking as Rek'Sai the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
He doesn't have flash to flash ult in. Or ult flash in. He's
No Zonius
fucked.
either, I don't think.
What?
Zonius? Nothing?
I don't know.
No
But it
sustained
doesn't even matter. He was going to be dead before that anyway.
Agent, yeah.
But, like, if he goes before the minion wave's there, if he goes in that blind gap, and then Cloud9 can attack from the front at the same time he shows up in the back, you then have, like, the pincer. Instead, they see him immediately back off, and they 5v1 his ass, like, between Krugs and River, like, in the lane, before anyone else from Cloud9 could get close. And so, like, he ults and doesn't get shit off because he doesn't have flash, so he doesn't, like, they all back away and still kill him. He gets nothing. And I don't know what the hell he was thinking. It's like, now is the time to go.
All right. No, okay.
Like, because you can watch your waves.
I think I was, like, probably doing the same thing that you're doing as you're over-analyzing your team and, like, you're...
No, that's not an over-analyst. That's
Okay,
just straight up shit play.
Okay, like, I mean, like, you're...
Like, that was
No,
obvious.
you're right, but, like, you're nitpicking your team because I was doing the same. I was like, that was really bad. That was garbage. I don't know why you won this game. But then, like, on the other hand, like, you're like, my team kind of shit the bed. And I'm like, it kind of looked pretty good from my perspective because I thought we were fucked.
Like I said, I think most of the time Ole was outplaying them.
Yeah.
But between the Azir thing and that, like, you're talking about a team that was number 3 last split. They finished the regular split number 2.
Okay, yeah.
And they ended up number 3. They've been a top 3 in NA for a long fucking time. Like, for their whole existence, they've been top 3 because they missed Worlds once, I think. Or no, they didn't get out of groups at Worlds once or some shit. I don't know. Anyway, like, they're a top 3 team. And Licorice is probably the best top laner in NA. Like, but you do something like that, and I question you. Because that's some Hoonie bullshit right there.
I don't like Licorice on Nico.
I'm
don't
not
like
hot
anyone
on it.
Nico.
You know, I'm gonna go with that. I'm okay with Nico the champ, you know, and, like, seeing her in a regular game, which I don't even play anymore, so it doesn't matter. But I don't like her in pro play. I do not think she's useful enough.
Yeah.
And this whole we take her freaking on hit sometimes versus
know,
AP. Who knows? We're just gonna roll again dice and just see what I'm gonna buy before the game starts. I don't know.
Who was it had her in a base defense and just... It was Someday. Someday had it.
Oh, yeah, when they
So
were...
this is the one thing I'll say about 100 Thieves, like, for the whole thing. Because I'm only talking about Someday. I'm not talking about the team.
Yeah.
That team was losing, like, when they were holding shit off, and he got a 4-man Nico ult that destroyed that team fight. Like, she has that ability. But we've seen Impact do it too, late last split.
If someone's gonna play Nico, I think it needs to be AP only.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think and Alan's saying it in the chat too. I think AP Nico is the way to go. On hit Nico, I do not like.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna talk about 100 Thieves, I wanna roll back for just a second.
No, we're not gonna talk about the team.
Alan, I'm gonna talk about a player. Alan wanted to know what we guys thought of Soligo.
Oh, so okay, yeah, we can talk about Soligo.
Like, I'm not gonna bring anything else up about the team. Just wanted to bring up that because we
think
overlooked
Soligo's
it like
okay.
20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I think he's okay. I think he's just on a very dysfunctional team at the moment.
Yeah.
Do I think he's like a top half mid laner? No.
Do you think it's because of the team he's on? Do you think he could be doing better?
I don't think he is a top half mid laner. Because if you look down NA, I'm gonna say Jensen, Crown, Froggen, Bjergsen, DeMonte better right off the top of my head. Okay. And I'm gonna put Niski in there. Like he's a bottom end. I mean he might be the worst mid laner. Honestly,
you know, actually.
Power Vival's been inconsistent, but I think his best is better.
And Power Evil are both like.
And I think Pobelter and Power Vival are both better. Yeah. So that puts me. I'm missing one mid laner.
Well, I mean, if their team turns it around, or if he by chance gets traded somewhere else, like between
Froggen.
I said Froggen.
Oh, you said Froggen.
Yeah, I missed somebody.
I mean, Alan said that he could be top half with more experience, which I don't necessarily disagree with.
Oh,
but like, you're right. Currently, he is bottom half, but I think it's because he's not getting good experience. Like, he's playing, but the team around him is just not playing to where he could be.
Yeah. I agree. I think him and Yusui are the bottom 2 mid laners in NA, but they're also both super new, and they're on not great teams. With better teams, more experience, all that, they could end up being a lot better. Because I mean, DeMonte has been, like, he wasn't crazy gangbusters the first time he played. Golden Glue, several times he was in NA as a mid laner, as a starting mid laner, was not very good. But then we've seen him be better, one, on a better team, and two, with more experience.
Yeah.
Like, all these players have room to grow, especially the young ones. And so I think Soligo definitely has the opportunity to improve. And if he does, that will only help the players around him. So...
hopefully.
Yeah, right. It can't hurt them if he gets better, so. But yeah, alright. So I've got a little game we'll play to close out here.
Is it we all take off our clothes? Because I'm really good at that one.
We do that one after
I'm
the
very
show.
good at that one.
Yeah!
Yeah!
Cheers. Cheers to that. Show's not over, but cheers. Alright, so, let's talk about this game. I'm just gonna steal, if you guys remember the show Street Smarts.
No, I have
like
no idea
terrible
what you're
game
talking
show.
about. No.
Are you ready?
No.
Even close?
No.
No.
I'm guiding discussion, man. So they had a thing called Pick Your Pony, and like so Street Smarts. I'm just gonna give a quick rundown because the
I
show was
have no
fantastic.
idea, so.
Basically, it was like a game show where they had like questions, you know, like, hey, who was the 5th president of the United States, or like it was usually like way simpler shit, right?
Okay, good, because I'm...
Yeah, like, but the thing was they would like go to malls and just ask random people, and they would like save the answers from like the dumbest ones.
Yeah.
And so the contestants on the show would like answer whatever, but then they would like be picking like, is this person gonna get it right or wrong or whatever? And they had one of these games called Pick Your Pony, and they'd be like, I'm gonna pick Jason as my pony. So for the next 3 questions, it's like, how did Jason do? How stupid is Jason? And so it'd
Poor
be
Jason.
Yeah, you know, it'd be like, I don't know. It was all really fucking simple. It was like, are you smarter than a 5th grader questions, but easier.
Oh, okay.
And it was just people who...
Those were still pretty hard.
Yeah, it was just people who knew nothing. You know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like late night shows where they ask people show on the street, that kind of stuff.
Okay. All right.
So we're going to do
picking
Pick
a
Your
pony.
Pony, but you're going to pick a team, and over the next 2 weeks, you want your team to have the best record possible.
Dibs on OpTic.
You dibs on OpTic.
Dibsing OpTic
To have the best record over the next 2 weeks.
the next 2 weeks. All right, let me see what
They play Cloud9, Team Liquid,
I know,
TSM,
I'm so
and Echo
excited,
Fox.
I know. That sounds like it. Because if they do, I'd be like a god.
Yeah, well, okay, and so if we have any ties, like if 2 teams go, you know, the best 2 are 3-1,
Yeah,
or the best
okay.
2 are 4-0, we're going to go based off their opponent's rankings. So, whoever's the best there.
I'm gonna pick 100 Thieves.
Yeah, you said you dibs on OpTic. You want
I'll pick OpTic. I will
Oh
pick
my
OpTic just to do it. 'Cause
You're
I
li-
really... They're
They have the
4-0
best
for a
chance of
reason.
going 0-4, though.
They do. So I can either really lose this hard, or I've won it and I look great.
True,
OpTic
true.
looks great too. And I'm not even an OpTic.
Alan would go
OpTic
OpTic,
fan.
too.
I'm gonna pick my boys. I feel like they've got
Hold on, I
a
wanna
2
put
and
this
2 going.
So, Golden Guardians are running up against 100 Thieves, CLG, those seem like wins, TLTSM, which they're
depending on
they're
which
actually ahead of those
TL,
teams right now.
which TSM we
Yeah.
see.
Okay, that's pretty decent. I'm going to go just through them for everyone who's listening. We've got Team Liquid's facing FlyQuest, OpTic, Golden Guardians, Clutch, TSM, Clutch, Cloud9, OpTic, Golden Guardians. That seems that actually might be the roughest schedule right now based on how teams looked in week 2. FlyQuest faces Liquid, Clutch, CLG, 100 Thieves. Ooh, that's tempting.
Yeah.
I'll make a little mark there. Fox, CLG, 100 Thieves, Clutch, OpTic. CLG faces Fox, Golden Guardians, FlyQuest, and Cloud9, but it is CLG.
It's CLG. They're hit or miss. It's either they're gonna win and be
Clutch faces
surprises or
TSM, FlyQuest, Fox, and TL.
You're gonna pick your boys.
Cloud9 faces OpTic, TSM, 100 Thieves, CLG. Ooh, they do have 2 good ones there. 100 Thieves faces Golden Guardians, Fox, Cloud9, FlyQuest. Yeah, I am looking either Cloud9 or FlyQuest, because FlyQuest...
I'm hoping you go C9.
You
Just
need to
for
pick
the-
your
think
boys.
so.
OpTic, TSM,
Yeah.
100 Thieves, CLG. Like that could very easily be a 4-0.
Well, right. Because FlyQuest also has CLG 100 Thieves. They both play them week 4. And so then it's FlyQuest has TL and Clutch, whereas Cloud9 has OpTic TSM. And I feel like OpTic TSM are the better teams there right now. But
I like this because if you pick C9, like we're directly opposed.
yeah,
almost.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna pick Cloud9. Let's do it.
So what does this do? What like?
So over the next 2 weeks, whoever has the best, if we want to lay down a bet on it, we can.
All right.
We haven't done one of those since
no
last.
40s.
Yeah,
No 40s.
that was self-imposed idiot bet. Oh my god. Okay.
Didn't need to attack me. Jesus Christ, let's just...
Well, do we just want to go hard loser or like winner? Like winner victory or like loser has to pay up kind of thing? What do we want to go on this?
Hard loser buys everyone something.
They buy French fries for the table.
Fucking
I
done.
like it.
I'm so hungry right now. That
All
sounds
right.
amazing.
So like you have to buy like 2 large fries for the 3 of us.
How
I
about
think.
McDoubles for everyone? Those are like $1 a piece.
Yeah, or McChickens.
A McDouble and a fry for everyone.
There you
Okay.
go. That's like $2 a piece. Like that's
Yeah.
pretty low stakes.
Right, and you'll just buy it for yourself too.
And you
so
know,
$6
Exactly.
I
total.
know. So I'm gonna buy more because I'm gonna eat more than that. So.
Yeah. So all right. So
And
that's
and like 3 more McDoubles.
I just-
And a
quarter
McChicken.
I
pound.
say I feel okay because Heather picked like the hardest route.
I did.
So I feel pretty good. I'm not gonna be last.
Yeah. So basically, it's only the loser.
Yeah.
Okay.
The loser buys
Oh,
either
that's alright.
McDouble or McChicken and fries
And
for the table.
If it's 2
each
and
person.
2, it's by who has the best record.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
previous
So
weeks.
what you're looking at? So we'll just go off like a week just to make
Mhm.
it easier. So say in week 1, week 3, the week 1 of this, OpTic and Cloud9 tied for worst, right?
Mhm.
Oh man, if we go for evens, you're gonna win.
I know.
Oh, never mind. Let's not do OpTic and Cloud9 because that's too close. Let's go. If OpTic and Golden tied,
Yeah.
because 100 Thieves and CLG are ranked lower than Cloud9 and TL,
Yeah.
you would end up above him.
Yeah.
Like if you guys both went 1-1, because your win would be over a better team than his win.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's
Sorry.
what for clarification, your wins of the tied teams we would then look at the standings of those. I guess I could do a whole thing where it's like
So
your
it
wins
could
minus
be
like
GGs
the
versus
standings of your
C9 too.
losses. And,
We're getting
yeah, I
too
could end up
technical.
all over
I'll
it,
fucking just buy them. It doesn't
no,
matter.
no, we'll be fine. It probably won't end up as a tie. That's why I
Yeah.
went 2 weeks instead
Alright.
of 6.
$6 will break the bank, but I'll
It's okay.
Alright.
I'll sell some
If,
dice.
if I'm not gonna lie, if Taco Bell has the
Or we could do Taco Bell. I don't
Yeah.
care.
only if they have the nacho fries. If they have
Yeah.
because I think they took them
All
away
right.
right now, but I want the nacho.
So guys, quick rundown next week. You want to pull up the schedule for us quick?
I'm excited. I like this part. It's my
Yeah.
favorite part.
Schedule.
This is how we wrap up the show. Alan, to answer your question, I have not watched any LEC this split. I don't believe either of you guys have either.
I haven't watched anything.
Perks
else.
popping off with Zaya does not surprise me. He's good. All right, so on Saturday, we're going to see Team Liquid versus FlyQuest. I think we're all probably on the TL bandwagon, despite their iffy start, because FlyQuest has been iffy as well.
Seems likely, yeah.
Cloud9 OpTic, that is the game of the week right now, I think.
I'm voting against Heather here. Sorry.
Yeah,
Cloud9.
I think
Right
I
now
might
I'm
go for
going-
OpTic just because it's on my side, but I'm honestly not sure.
right now I'm Cloud9, but we'll see. CLG Echo Fox, I'm going to be on Fox on that one.
I think I'm gonna lean into CLG
too.
actually.
Really? You guys both going CLG, dang.
Well, I think I went CLG this freaking weekend and I lost to you.
Yeah,
guys
I just
OpTic,
think Solo has
bad.
been balling out of his mind right now.
I mean, if it were Sunday, maybe I pick Echo Fox, but I'm gonna
True.
I've got one
Although
pick
Echo
on
Fox
the
lost on
Chiefs.
Sunday this week, so
womp womp.
it's funny. So actually, quick note on that: CLG is 2-2, whereas Echo Fox is 1-3. But Echo Fox has lost to Golden Guardians, Cloud9, TSM, good team, or pretty good teams, and beat Team Liquid, also pretty good team. Whereas CLG beat 100 Thieves, not good team. TL, good team, lost to TSM and OpTic, good teams. Like they've both faced people who are high in the standings, other than that 100 Thieves game. All right, so Clutch TSM.
This one's a toughie because
It's surprisingly tough.
Clutch looked really good this last weekend, but they looked like garbage the week before. TSM has also equally kind of looked like garbage.
On each day. It's
Yeah.
like 1-1 for them.
Yeah,
Both weeks.
if we see good Clutch, I prefer that over current TSM. But if we see bad Clutch, I easily prefer TSM over that. And
it
I think
depends on what they
TSM's
ban.
gonna ban Rumble, so my initial thought is I'm gonna go TSM on this
What
one.
if they play Acadian versus Grig?
I'm gonna do.
I honestly I don't think it matters to me.
You know,
I think what TSM draft pick ban matters more to me than who the jungler is for TSM.
I'm gonna do one of those really terrible self-imposed bets.
Yeah.
What?
if my team loses against 100 Thieves...
Oh, we haven't got that far yet. What's
Okay.
your TSM clutch
Well, he's talking about
beforehand
the next
pick? I know.
Oh, he's just talking
He
about
hasn't
it,
like
yeah.
given what he thinks like right now because we're just giving gut reactions.
I'm gonna say TSM is gonna win.
Heather, where are you on it?
TSM.
Okay. All right. So now
I didn't do any of that.
heading into 100 Thieves Golden Guardians. Here's your self-imposed bet.
Self-imposed bet. If my boys lose, I'm drinking a 40.
And you'll get to talk about 100 Thieves.
And I'll get to talk...
You'll get to we'll make it the last like topic so you can like drunkenly bitch about Golden Guardians losing 100 Thieves.
Self-imposed. Please don't fail me, boys.
Make sure you write that down. Okay, you
I
write
already
it
wrote it down.
All right, let's head into Sunday then. Golden Guardians, we all got that.
Yo.
TL OpTic. This is another important game. Like OpTic versus Cloud9 and OpTic versus TL are the two probably most important games of this week. And the Cloud9 one's only more important because they've looked better than TL so far.
I'm gonna pick TL.
I'm
I'm gonna say OpTic
right
now, but it depends on what I see on Saturday.
Yeah,
it
that's
absolutely
definitely
depends on what I see from
both
OpTic against Cloud9 and TL against
Both
FlyQuest.
of them.
Because that will make a lot of difference in what I think. But I'm going to say OpTic at the moment.
See, now I'm starting to get scared because statistically, 100 Thieves has to win at some point, right?
No team has gone without a win. You are correct.
So
Echo Fox versus 100 Thieves is what you're staring at right now.
Fox. It's gotta
well,
be Fox.
I'm more concerned because like I mean these are both games that like 100 Thieves could like play out of their minds and potentially take a win.
I mean, Echo Fox and FlyQuest are the two teams closest to 100 Thieves right now. They each only have a win. Those being over Liquid for Fox and TSM for FlyQuest.
I mean, I'm going hardcore Echo Fox, but I'm like...
At some point, we'll be wrong.
Right? Yeah.
Because, I mean, I did that last split where I said I'm not picking 100 Thieves until they win a game, and then they beat Clutch, finally. But then, they lost the next 7 games after that.
I'm just, like, betting against 100
okay.
Thieves this entire year.
Yeah. So I'm on Fox on this one.
I'm on Fox.
TSM Cloud9.
This is pretty easy, Cloud9.
I
mean, unless TSM shows up real hardcore on Monday or on
Saturday against Clutch.
Yeah.
Like, once again, what I see on Saturday is going to affect this Sunday so much,
but
I feel
mean,
like.
Clutch is still, like, down here where, like...
Yeah, no, I think Cloud9 looks... Or, I'm sorry, Cloud9 looks better than TSM right now, overall.
Like, I feel like Clutch down here, TSM somewhere here, Cloud9 still up here. Yeah. So, like, I mean... Them beating a dumpster team isn't going to make me think, like, oh, they're going to beat Cloud9.
Yeah. I think, same. Like, the historian of me, like, that I've been around this scene so long, you just don't count out TSM when it comes to a Cloud9 game, because those two have been the most close rivals in the history of LCS.
What is the match?
El Clasico was TSM and CLG, but that comes from before LCS existed. That's like season 1, 2, 3 stuff.
I'm familiar with it, but...
Yeah, because CLG hasn't won in over 1,000 days at this point. It's been more than 3 years since CLG has beaten TSM. The last time CLG beat TSM was at Madison Square Gardens to win the split.
Wow.
And I remember watching that with my buddy Ian. We were sitting in our living room in Illinois and fucking watching that shit. And, like, CLG won it. And, like, we were jumping up and down like, holy shit. Like, we were freaking out. Because, like, we couldn't believe CLG had beaten TSM. Mm-hmm. And they haven't won since.
Wow, that's crazy.
I need to bring that up to Ian, actually, now. Yeah. Maybe they won't beat TSM until Ian and I are in the same room watching them play again.
TSM just beat CLG. And
yeah, they just beat them, so they'll play them in the back half of the split. Actually, they're the first game of the back half of the split. Okay. Week 5, day 2.
Very cool.
I'm going to nominate this as our bubble wrap midget wrestling
Clutch versus
match.
FlyQuest. I think that's as good as Clutch did this last week. I think that's the closest we have. No. Echo Fox 100 Thieves is. It's gotta be, right? Like, I don't feel like it's a close fight, but it's more bubble wrap midget because each of those teams is lower in the standings than both Clutch and Fly. Like, FlyQuest is tied with Echo Fox, but if you go the low team, 100 Thieves is below FlyQuest and Fox is below Clutch.
I'm gonna say Fox versus 100 Thieves too for bubble wrap midget fight.
No.
You guys are monsters.
Only because Clutch looked good this week.
Yeah. They did, but I don't know that it's gonna happen again.
If
and
on
FlyQuest
Saturday
has looked pretty
if
bad.
On Saturday Clutch and FlyQuest loses and Clutch looks like hot garbage, on Saturday, then FlyQuest Clutch's Bubble Wrap Midget Wrestling match. Otherwise, it's got to be Fox 100 Thieves. Like, you're talking... That's a 10th versus tied for 8th team.
I still don't like what you're saying to me right now. You're saying things, just don't like it.
But who do you have for FlyQuest versus Clutch?
I have Fly.
I want to lean into Hooney, but I think he's going to fail me.
It depends on Saturday.
I'm
really
going to tentatively say Clutch, but I'm probably going to change my vote to FlyQuest.
I want to see what did.
I'm going to be Clutch right now. Once again, Saturday will speak volumes.
Yeah, I mean, if Clutch comes this week like they did last week, I'm going to keep them where they're at. But if they show up on Saturday and look like shit, I'm going to just flush them down the toilet.
What, Clutch?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, that takes us into our final one, Golden Guardians CLG.
Gonna pick my boys.
GGs.
Yeah, I mean, I think Golden Guardians is just the better team right now, and that's not too difficult to
I don't
say.
have picks for like 3 of these games.
Don't have
There's some close ones, and I think especially Sunday. Sunday is going to be dictated a lot
Because
based on
Saturday is
Saturday.
like, it's TL versus Fly, which, you know what, I'll probably give to TL, so that one's easy. But C9 versus OpTic? I mean, do I pick C9 because I think they're the better team, or do I pick OpTic because of the bet? And because they're 4-0 and they look like a good team right now.
Well, them winning or losing doesn't affect your picks. So, I mean, but do you also want to lean into your...
I know.
And Alan,
Like,
I
it's
did
like,
a quick
what will
check.
catch me up to you? Because I'm so far behind right now.
Who's winning picks right now?
Chase is.
It's still early. It's week 2. Don't worry. It's gonna get fucking tragic.
Alan, I did a quick check though on that CLG when they did beat TSMMS in Square Gardens. Yes, that was the time they also made to semifinal at MSI, whatever. They did all right at MSI. That team was Stixay. It was Double Lift had just left CLG.
Big Dixay?
It was Stixay, Afro Moo bot lane, Darshan top.
Ooh.
Like, yeah,
They won with a Moo on
Yeah.
the team?
yeah. That was back when Afro Moo was still good. But
Who?
yeah, I know, right?
Afro who?
But yeah, that was the
I dig it.
Afro Who.
Hashtag Afro Who.
Hashtag Afro Who. Oh my god. We should start.
Tweeting that
And by
right
we,
now.
I mean Chase. Don't do it on the Yeti one. Jesus Christ. Start.
I was gonna do it on the Yeti one.
No, do it on yours. You're the asshole.
I am the asshole.
I've seen your Reddit karma. It's not great.
I have 115 points.
That's
Oh,
not
I got
great.
gold last night
But I don't...
for posting a webcomic.
Nice.
Yeah. So did you see the picture? It came up. It was like in Earth Porn. Sorry, tangent real quick. It was Earth Porn. It was basically like a glacier, but it looked like female genitalia, I guess.
I did not see
Anyways,
this.
there's a webcomic called Ogloff, which is not safe for work, but it's absolutely hilarious if you want to check it out. And there's a snow queen, and she's like, made of ice, so
Yeah.
anybody who has sex with her,
Oh.
So anyways, there's an entire little section of the comic about that, and I was like, hey, this reminds me of that. And someone's like, oh, this is great, thanks, here's some gold. I was like, that's what I get gold for?
Yeah.
Linking a comic?
All right.
Shit.
Well,
Sorry, I had to brag.
any last thoughts on week 2 or thoughts heading into week 3?
I'm very excited. Week 3 is actually the most hyped I've been so far because,
I'm serious.
I don't know.
I'm so curious to see if OpTic are that
yes,
team.
that's what I want to see. And it's going to be surprising because I really don't have many dogs aside from Crown and OpTic's fight. And they weren't someone I was on board with last split because they weren't that good and they had changes everywhere.
Like the only the only one team I feel confident about right now is that Cloud9's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know about TL and TSM. I don't know if they're not
it's
very
weird to
good
say
or
these
they're
things
actually
out loud.
And I don't know if OpTic's actually good. Those 3 teams, OpTic, TL, TSM, we're going to find out so much about them this week, and I'm really, really excited for it. Chase, thoughts? Anything?
Things and stuff.
All right, well, that does it then for episode 18, season 3 of League of Vloggers. We'll see you guys next week back on Monday.
Back on Monday.
Cheers.
Cheers.